This is Unworldly Perspectives. I'm your host, Dr. Kimberly F. Wilson. Tonight, we're going to talk about a topic that seems to plague every family and every household. We're going to talk about child support. Why child support is so important. Well, we also want to discuss on why the child support laws need to be revised. We're going to talk about how people, particularly mothers, are using the child support system to their advantage. We're going to talk about all of that. You guys come on in. Hello to my TV audience as well as my Facebook audience. When you get on, say hello. I'm going to do a little sharing and we're going to get started tonight. I hope that all of you guys out there are doing very well. And we're just going to talk about what people don't like to discuss. On Unworldly Perspectives, we talk about the perspectives that's not of the world. So, y'all get ready. Let's get started. I am located in Louisiana. So, I am going to go over Louisiana state laws on child support. Maybe you guys states wherever you may be tuning in from may be a lot different than Louisiana. Louisiana is going by some old laws. I was gonna say another word, but the laws is really, really outdated, old English laws, and they really need to be revised. Hello. Let's see where we at. It's gonna just take me a second, guys, to do a little sharing, and we're about to get started. Hello, Miss Sharon. How you doing, love? We're about to get started. Hello, Diamond. Hello, Dequata. Y'all welcome. Y'all hit that share button. Let me know that you have shared. I'm going to do a little sharing on my part and we're about to get started. As I stated, we're going to talk about child support. I have three guests. One of my guests will come on about 7:15ish. And then I'm going to bring on another guest. I have three guests tonight, so I'm going to space it out in like 15 to 10-minute increments. We only have an hour tonight, y'all, but we're going to dive right in. I am blessed. I'm blessed, love. What makes me qualified to speak about child support? Well, while I was going to school to get my doctoral degree, I worked for DCFS. So I know hands on the child support laws and also how child support is set up to be manipulated by some women. You can have a father that is taking care of their child, doing everything they possibly can for their child, and then the moment that father decides to move on, the woman decides to go put that father on child support. That is when it needs to be revised because the way the system is designed here in Louisiana, it allows that mother to play victim and totally manipulate this man and cause havoc in this man's life. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? And he could be fully taking care of his child or children in that case. Sometimes things don't work out, y'all, and sometimes you have to have a co-parenting relationship. And what some salty women, they behinds run down there and, as I stated, go put the father on child support. And that is when, my opinion, the system needs to be revised, especially here in these old English laws in Louisiana. Hey, Miss Tiara, because say for instance you have a father that's doing the best that he can, he's picking up his child, he's doing what he needs to do, and he meets someone else that he may love and want to be with, and you got these salty baby mamas out here. I hate that term, but that's what they use. You got the sorry baby mamas out there that say, oh, you got you somebody else, let me go put you on child support. That is when the system really needs to do something about it, especially if that man is providing all of his documentations to show that he is taking care of his responsibilities. Now, for the fathers that is absolutely doing absolutely nothing, the laws need to be change for that as well. It needs to be adjusted for that as well. Because you know you have children out here, and boy, let me tell y'all, I have a 5.5 year old. She'll be 6 in August. Taking care of a child from birth, especially as they begin to be a toddler, they're growing. You're having to buy clothes. As they grow, they're eating. And if you have a piece of job, you're not going to get no government assistance, honey. If you're not making below minimum wage, barely able to make it, you're not going to get no state assistance. So then you're having to feed the child. If the child, once the child becomes school age, school clothes. So it's very hard on single parents. And not just women are single parents. I want to point out that it's also some fathers out there that have stepped up to the plate and taken care of their children. It is very expensive to raise a child, and especially if you have more than one small child. And so when you are a parent and you're a single parent, it's unfair that the other parent gets to do whatever it is that they want to do. He or she wants to do, while the other parent is stuck with the responsibilities of raising their child or their children. They should pay 10 times the amount, because when you lay down, it's your responsibility to take care of that child. You deserve to be on child support if you're not taking care of your responsibilities. So I believe both ways, especially here in Louisiana, the laws need to be revised for either or scenario. Now, there are some amazing fathers out there and some amazing mothers, but we do have those that do absolutely nothing. Yeah, that is correct, Miss Scott. Miss Scott says, can y'all see me a little better now? Miss Scott says, these women lay up having children unmarried and feeling like because you had a kid by him, you own him and you don't. That is absolutely correct. When you make a decision, I call it a dope decision, to lay down, unmarried or however you do it. When you're grown, you make that decision. And when you procreate, you have to know in the back of your head you guys are unmarried. It's a possibility you guys may break up. And then what do you do? But you can't then become bitter when the other parent decides to move on, and that's for a man or a woman. It's both ways. Women do it as well as men do it. You can co-parent without a relationship. But as I stated before, we have to be accountable for what we do. If you have a child that is able to talk and speak fluent English, then that other parent should be able to talk to that child. Unless it's an emergency, you guys shouldn't really be talking much. We have to draw the line. A lot of times, the other parent be in a relationship and still messing around with their baby mama, their baby dad, or whatever. You have to draw the line. Then when they get mad, there goes the child support. When that person no longer wants to be in an intimate relationship, that's when the other person say, hey, I'm about to go put you on child support. So when you no longer can be together for the sanity of the child, because when you still be involved with each other, you're confusing the child. You're confusing the child of the children. So you have to be in control of your environment at all times and not depend on the system to take care of you or your children if you can help it. And what I mean by that is you have to put yourself in a position to take care of your children by any means necessary. Now, sometimes we all fall on hard times. We all have fallen on hard times. Most people don't want to admit that they've had to fall on hard times. We all have had to fall on hard times, and the system is available for you when you fall on hard times. But my problem I have is when people abuse the system. And that's what I'm speaking about, these mammoths that go and go down there and make like the man ain't did nothing for the child, and that man probably had the child all weekend or children all weekend while she doing whatever she wanna do. I agree. I agree. Any woman or man, if you have children, need to step up and take care of your responsibilities. When you have children, it should change you. As a parent, it should change you. When you have children, you have to adjust your world. You can't do the same things that you used to do. You can't blow money like you used to blow money, because them, like I said before, kids gonna hit a growth spurt, and once they hit a growth spurt, you better have your little money set aside because they no longer gonna be able to fit them shoes, them underwear. I learned the hard way. I definitely learned the hard way with that. You can't go out there and buy Jordans and Nikes um, and think that that's going to be it. You're going to end up having to gift them to someone else or sell them because they're going to grow out of it so fast. So basically, from my perspective, the child support laws here in Louisiana needs to be changed for both the deadbeats as well as for the system being used for bitter baby mamas. It needs to be changed and needs to be revised. And in my opinion, when the court deems that this is a bitter baby mama, they need to fine her behind for coming in there with that foolishness. When the father presents his paperwork and he shows that he's been helping with his children, taking care, they need to fine her with the foolishness. I said what I said. Because you wasting the court time for the parents that is genuinely needing help because they have exhausted all of their resources. You're wasting time for the courts to be able to do what they need to do for those parents that genuinely need help from the other deadbeat. If you waste the court time, then you should be fined. I bet you if they start doing that, it'll stop some of their trifling behinds from running in there doing that to these men. Because some of these men are really genuinely taking care of their kids and they not even able to feed themselves or take care of their family because they on child support. And in the state of Louisiana, until they turn 19 years old, honey, you're still going to be on child support. They can be in the graduated high school. 19 years old, you're going to still be on child support. And if you have arrears, they're going to be garnishing your check. They're going to be taking your income taxes. If you win money at the boat, they're going to run your name through the system and they're going to get your coins. My son about to be 21 and my daughter 18, and their daddy never did anything for them. When I asked him for something for his child, it was always something. So I put him on child support. And that's what you were supposed to do, Miss Sharon. You got to do what you have to do. Because again, you had to. It's very hard. It's very hard. And then when you don't have much support, family support, and you're having to take care of that child or children, it becomes even harder when you don't have any financial support or emotional support. Because as a parent, you need to have a mental break. That is also important. Y'all know I'm a psychologist, so I'm going to tell you it's very important that you take at least one day out of a week to get you some me time. It is vitally important. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself yelling at your child, very short patient, angry, especially if you're a single parent. It's very vitally important that you do something, put the child down early to bed or something to get you some you time. And make sure you do something for yourself so you won't become so bitter in the inside for doing everything yourself. But Miss Sharon, you did exactly what you were supposed to do because that father is considered a good for nothing deadbeat. Simple. I have no understanding for a man or a woman, Because you have some old good for nothing mammies too that leave their children on the fathers too. So it's not just dads. But I have no understanding for someone to bring children in this world. They didn't ask to be here and don't do all they can for their child. And if you cannot do all that you can and you're going to hurt them babies, give them to someone else that can't have any children and would love to take care of that baby and love that child like it's their own. It is people out there wishing and praying and hoping for a baby. So before you guys out there bring a child in this world, if you know you're not physically able to, financially, mentally, emotionally, don't hurt them babies. They didn't ask to be here. Give them to someone else that will love them and treat them the way they need to be treated and give them a lot of love. Because you can buy kids whatever it is that you want to buy them. And at the end, all of they gonna remember is your love. I still pick my 5-year old up like she's a baby and hold her and hug her tight. Yeah, I know she's 5 years old, but that's my baby. And I want her to know love. That's important for our babies. And so, if you got another partner, whether it's the mom or the dad, that's a deadbeat. Don't talk about that around them babies. You allow the babies to develop their own relationship with their parent. You don't tell a child, oh, your daddy or your mom ain't paying child support. I'm about to put you. Allow children to stay in children's place. That ain't none of their business. That's adult stuff. Too many parents and too many households are allowing children to be in grown folks' business. When I was growing up, you better not be in adult business. You get popped. So you should not be bad mouthing the father or the mother to their child. As he or she grows up, if that child is good for nothing, trust me, the child will be able to start saying, oh, they a liar, or they are whatever it is that they are. Allow them to develop their relationship with their parent and then ultimately end the relationship either way. But it's very, very hurtful to that child when you begin to involve them into grown folks' business. Amen. You did it. You did what any mother have to do. It's gonna be hard. It's any parent rather. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be some days where you gonna go in your room and cry, and it's gonna be some days where you have to make a decision not to eat just so your babies can eat. And so with that, that's when the laws really need to be revised for that parent that's sacrificing a meal for her babies or her baby to eat. While this other parent is out doing whatever, living their best life. That is when they need to be eating ramen noodles and not the child. Period. If you have traded your life in for your child like you should do, then the other parent needs to face the consequences. Simple as that. All right, child. That is my perspective on it. I am about to call my first guest. Y'all give me just a moment. Hey, lady. All right, I'm about to bring you on, and you can tell them your name. I'm about to put you on speakerphone. All right. Can y'all hear her okay?
Hello, everybody.
Okay, give them your name.
My name is D Jackson.
Okay, and what experience have you had with the Louisiana child support law?
When I got married, back in 2013. My husband was a very active father. Um, he had his son along with a daughter that wasn't his. Uh, we bought school clothes, school supplies, haircuts, dresses, kept the kids for the entire summer while the mother lived her best life. As soon as she found out we were engaged to be married, she jumped up, got married, turned around. Uh, June 30th, we went down for child support with no reason. We didn't know until we came back from our honeymoon that she had filed. We went to court and presented all the information. My then husband's mother really at the time had full physical custody of both her kids. They were registered under my husband and his mother's name for school. My husband had them on medical insurance, everything. So there was no need for her to do it. But when they went to court, regardless of the fact of the receipts that we provided, the evidence we provided, text messages, all everything, they still granted her uh, child support. But they didn't set in a visitation order. So at that point, he didn't get to see his child, all because he had moved on and we were married. He went from making maybe $1,200, $1,300 every 2 weeks to bring it home roughly about $468. And at that time, it took over $3,000 to run our household. But being the woman that I am, I told him to quit his job. Nothing for nothing leaves nothing. When you have done everything that you could, you're an active father, you provide everything for your kid. You were there for your kid. Meanwhile, they were left at home alone. And my then stepson was 10, his sister was 3. She would leave them at home alone versus allowing them to be picked up by me, my husband, or even his mother. She shut out all communication with us because she was bitter about being pregnant at 16 and her mother made her abort the baby. So it wasn't fair. The judge, we had to get a lawyer. Uh, thank God that I know people. Um, took the case, redid it, and ended up getting a visitation, but we couldn't stop the child support. So I told my husband at that time, I know it's your son, it's hard to do, but anything extra, we would no longer be doing. When she was sending kids in the beginning, again, she had a daughter that wasn't even my husband, but she was always around, but I allowed her to come. And I told him, it's sad that she was getting food stamps, everything. She even lied to the courts that she was even married. She found under her maiden name. I had my own business. She thought that she was going to be able to get a portion of my money from my business. And they were like, nah, we ain't going to do that. I didn't lay down and have any satisfaction in making this kid. So why am I going to be getting my money with that to support a child that she didn't even want around me? It was sad the fact that you walking around, you didn't have furniture in your house, your lights get cut off, but I'm the woman, instead of my husband and your kids there, pay the bill because your kids are there. The kids would come for the summer. Like I said, she was getting public government assistance. She didn't send the food stamps. She didn't send food for them. She wouldn't even send clothes. They would show up with a Walmart bag with a t-shirt and a change of underwear for 3 month period stay. But it's all because they're bitter. But when you have someone who's very active in your kid's life, doing what they're supposed to do, all because what y'all had didn't work, now you want to go and involve the courts. And it wasn't fair to my husband, it wasn't fair to me. But like I said, I told him to quit his job, nothing for nothing, lose nothing. I had my own business. I was the breadwinner, and it wasn't fair, but you have to show them. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do to show them. When you stop showing up, stop picking up the keys, stop going and do, then they start thinking about it. Like when you was getting more before you start going file for child support, now you're not getting nothing, but then you was expecting for that cell phone to still get paid. You was expecting for him to still take them to get haircuts. You was expecting for us to still buy school clothes. No, you take that's child support money, which is for the support of the child, and you do everything that needs to be done for him. Don't call him as my husband for nothing.
Wow. Your case is a prime example of what I was just speaking about, on how the system failed you and both your husband. Because what should have happened is when you guys presented your evidence and that when he had custody, they should have told her to get her behind out of there. And if the
Yeah.
laws was lined up the way they should be, she should have got fined for coming in there with the foolery.
Yeah, but they didn't. I feel like Louisiana is a women and children state. Even after they found out that she was already married when she filed, she had a job. Um, and people would call. It was embarrassing for people to call and say, "Oh, I'm out here in Burlington and I see your husband, baby mama, and these kids look a mess. But you wasn't getting hair done, you wasn't getting haircuts, you wasn't nothing. But you was expecting, so because you were so accustomed to us doing, you were so accustomed to us having the kids. So now my son don't have a relationship with his father, all because you're jealous, envious, mad, whatever reason, because he's moved on with his life. And this was something that happened 12, 13 years prior to me and him even being together.
Oh man.
But you went in there and you cried, and oh, he ain't doing this, he ain't doing that. But meanwhile, me, his mother, even the son, when they asked to talk to the son, and they asked where he want to live, how's his relationship with his dad, he told them everything. He loves his dad, but it's the manipulation. And now, years later, my stepson has graduated high school, he's in college, and then me and my husband are not even together. But we maintain and helps him get a car. He's going to school, all with no thanks to her. But she was ready to put him out when she found out that he was sexually active at 17. But you're ready to put him out. But that's what happened when you shut the father out. That's what happened when you don't allow a man to raise a boy to become a man. You can raise a mother can raise any child, but a mother can't raise a boy to become a man. You can teach him, show him, tell him, but you just can't do it. Now that same stepson has got caught up in the system. When you had an active father in your life, you had an active father taking you to play basketball, taking you to get haircuts, taking you and doing things, showing you how to fix cars, instilling you how to treat a woman and what to do. Meanwhile, you were being at home abused and mad, all because the mother was upset again about a relationship that didn't work 12 years prior. And it's just sad. I feel for some of the fathers because they are very active. And there's some kids that don't even have a father that's active or want to be a part of their life. But yet you take it away over foolishness for fun, unnecessarily.
Absolutely. And your story, along with others similar to your story, is one of the main reasons why, especially here in Louisiana, it needs to be revised and revised immediately because it is a lot of good fathers out there. We like to shed light on the bad fathers, but there are some excellent fathers here right in Louisiana that do what they supposed to do. Thank you so
Right.
much for being on and sharing your story with us and the TV audience. And I'm sure that it will definitely be a blessing to someone to know that what to do. They maybe can use some of the what you did to help them get out of their situation.
Indeed.
All right, you have yourself a good evening.
You too. Thank
Bye
you.
bye. All right, y'all. As y'all heard Miss Jackson say, her and her husband was a victim of the child support laws here in Louisiana. They didn't care. She said her husband had all of his documentation, had custody, other kids, the kids was living. And the minute she seen that they were about to get married, the baby, I call it mammy, baby mammy, because you're not a mama when you do something that's not in the best interest of your child. You're a mammy. And so the mammy decided to go down there and put the man on child support. Now, mind you, Miss Jackson said that he was doing more before child support got involved. So you see, sometimes you can go down there with your raggedy behind and end up getting lesser than what you was getting beforehand. So I'm a woman, I'm a mother. And I stand on the side of what's right. And it's absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. I know a couple of moms are gonna be upset and be mad, but that's okay. If you got a good father, it's a lot of parents out there that is begging for the father to just do something. And if you got a man that's taking care of his responsibilities, sit your behind down somewhere and allow that man to have a relationship with his child or children. It ain't about you anymore. It's about the best interest of the child. So go sit down somewhere and learn how to be grateful that you have a father or a mother that wants to be involved in their child's life. Go sit down somewhere. All right, child. Next up, I'm about to call my next guest. He is a man and he has been a victim of the child support laws as well. He's taking care of his child and children. And then when they separated, boom. And I do believe he's still on child support. He'll be able to tell his story. Let me call him up as well. Hey, you gonna be able to come on? Okay. All right. All right, y'all. He's one of the parents. Hold on just a second, y'all. He is one of the parents that's a single father, and he is trying to get his son situated so that he can come on. So I am going to call my next guest in just a minute when I fix this charger. Gonna text my next guest. Do you guys have any questions so far, my TV land and my Facebook audience? Okay, you in the room? Okay. Miss Scott says parents need to realize that when you talk about either parent in a derogatory way, you will drive that child to them. Curiosity prevails. Sometimes, Miss Scott, I agree to a certain extent. Sometimes it will drive them to the parent, and sometimes it will not. Sometimes it will cause that child to be bitter in the inside if and when that happens. So you definitely want to refrain from doing that because it's just not a good look. It's just not a good look. So you definitely want to refrain from doing that. All right. I'm going to bring in Mr. Thomas. He wants to speak about his experience with the child support. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm trying to see what's going on with my charger. But he wants to speak about the child support laws. And he will be live on stage, actually, instead of me calling. I welcome Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas,
Yeah, y'all
I
hear
can hear
me.
you loud and clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here. Good to be on here with you tonight.
All
Very
right, Mr.
interesting
Thomas.
subject you have here.
All
Child.
right. Now, can you give us your experience with the child support laws here in Louisiana and what you think should be done differently with the law?
Personally, I've never been on child support. I've never. But I've had dealings with guys who have been on child support, which is something that is not good. If I can address the first part of child support, Child support was put into the minority's home to separate the man from the woman. And as often as it is at a 90%, and I'm giving it a 90%, that the courts embrace when the family itself is in division in the minority community. They use it as a leverage to capitalize on finances. That's why you go to court and the man is paying $700-800 child support, and in reality, what he's only taking home, what she's only taking home for child support is $300 to $400 a month. Where's the rest of that money going? It's going into the court procedures. They are capitalizing on. They're getting rich. They're getting money off of the child's father. Who's the real loser here? It's not just the man. It's the woman, the man, and the child. Because the finances that's coming in, the finances is being used to keep more minorities separated. If I could get her to act up, she get all loud mouthed, come into the courtroom and cry in this hour. And it's been this way from back in yesteryear. If I can get her to get upset, I can keep my foot on his neck. It's true.
Okay.
They can keep his foot on his neck. If I can keep my foot on his neck, there will be no progressing of him. He makes $1, I'm getting at least 60% of that dollar. So I'm leaving him, and they're using the minority women to incarcerate. That's why the domestic violence. I don't approve no man beating on a woman. But when you go to jail for hitting a woman as if you shot and killed the woman, something wrong with that. Why would you why would you see him in jail? And this the next part about it is the government sets on the money and makes it killing. That's right. It makes a true killing, Facebook user. But once they separate, they did put him on child support. He doesn't pay his child support because he misses it. Um, he misses it. They did put him in jail and revoke his license. So how is he going to pay child support if you're going to put him in jail and remove his license? But you still tell him he got to pay child support. All of this is nothing but a connection to keep a male with a minority skin down. And they're using our women's, and it's been a tradition for years. They know in order to tear him down, we got to get our hands on her. So we'll give her welfare, we'll give her food stamps, and we'll give her a house on housing authority just to make sure she stayed away from him and they get the child support and payment. How is it that the child support, the child goes grown and he's still on back payment and they still making him pay child support? That tells you right there they are about nothing but money. They're looking for money and keep the family separated. Good evening, Miss Wood. To keep the family separated. And they know together we stand, divided we fall. That's just where we are.
And just to piggyback on what Mr. Thomas has said about the welfare, you guys do know that is a question. If you get put on welfare and the non custodial parent is not on child support, in order for them to give you welfare, they're going to automatically put
Right,
the non custodial parent on
right,
child support.
right.
So it's a trap.
It's a trap.
You can have that man taking care of the child, and then if you are in need financially and you go to the state for some assistance, they're going to ask you as that non-custodial parent on child support. If you say no and you still want their welfare, they are going to go after the
Well,
non-custodial
not
parent
well,
for
not
payment.
only that. If you recall back some years ago, they was putting this thing called a norm plant in the women's arm. preventing them to be pregnant in order to receive access from the government. That's
Right.
another way they was letting you know they was controlling the women and separating the men from the women, just like in slavery. Back in the day, you had different slaves on the farm. This slave could not have sex with that woman unless he had permission from the master at that time. So what's the
That's
difference
correct.
now? You don't have a master. You're free, but they telling you, okay, you got to get another plan. Oh, we still want you. If every Negro in America would sit down and not work, don't go to work, the United States itself government system will crash. Why? Because our system, the Negro community, is the number one making money in the United States. If we sit down, the money system will fall. We got to stop using this child support as a weapon on one another. We've got to, because our children are growing up. Our daughters are half naked, selling their soul for attention. Our sons now is booking over, becoming girls, because women's are raising them to be feminine, and they are becoming absent of being a male because what's missing in the home. Women, you are not going anywhere without that brother, that man in the house with you. So you making a few dollars now, but when them children get grown, you back at zero. What will you have after
Right.
you've done this asinine behavior? What will you have? You managed to destroy your child. You managed to destroy which relationship you in. You managed to tear up everything you got. The Bible says you are a foolish woman, but you can't tell them on Mother's Day the other Proverbs women who can find the virtuous woman, and you are not a virtuous woman. You're a hellraiser. You are, and I'm not just want to come that far deep into the women, but I want to get on some of these weak, lascivious men who don't want to take care of their responsibility.
I
Just
was
like
just
you
about to
shoot a
ask you
man
that.
down and fight for that car with them rims on it, you ought to get in that courthouse and fight for your children. And I mean fight her to death do you part, that you will have a relationship with your children. Step into their life. Don't you let that woman become wicked and teach your seed to come up against you like that. That is your bloodline. If your bloodline turn on you, what do you have, man? And some of these brothers, if you want to fight her, I can teach you how to do this. And you can go down there and say to that court, I'm not paying child support. Yes, you're going, I give up all of my rights. You give up all your rights and you sign that paperwork, I guarantee that woman gonna come in that courtroom. I ain't got no help. I better get back over there and talk with him. I want him in this child's life. She gonna get with him and she gonna get her mind right. If he give up his right, brother, you can't be scared. I'm telling you, I've helped brothers time and time right there in Louisiana and right here in Houston, Texas. You don't have to conform to the system. Go down there and sign all of your rights away to her. She is solely responsible for it. And when she becomes solely responsible, she's going to think, wait, he was giving her, at least he stopped by and gave him a bubble gum out of the bubble gum machine. Now he ain't seeing it. To run your child's father out of his life, you are destroying your child. Period.
I agree with that. I
You're
agree with that
destroying.
last statement. You
You
are,
can't help
you
it.
definitely are. If you are doing something that is not allowing your child to be in either parent's life, you
Oh,
are creating an environment for for
oh,
that
monster.
child that is not of love. It
Mm-hmm.
is of self, because that's a very selfish act. The
Right.
child should be able to have a relationship with both parents, regardless how y'all feel about each other.
Right.
That's grown folks business,
That's it.
but that child deserves a right regardless to
That's
have
right.
a relationship. So Mr. Thomas, before I let you go, I have a question.
Sure.
For you being a minority man in America, do you think the system is systematically picking on a minority man
It's
when it
des-
comes to child support.
it's designed to keep him down. It's designed. If you go back in history, it was a man by the name of Columbia who discovered America. He didn't come down here to the Spanish colony in Texas and took over there. He didn't do none of that. They killed him. The first open heart surgery was a Negro man. The first open brain surgery was a Negro man. The first man who learned how to make lights to right on your street for you to stop go was a Negro man. Telephone wire was a Negro man. Everything, when you come to the White House to this day, the Negro community built it from the ground up. Our ancestors built it. Without us, there is nothing. So, in order to keep the finances, in order to keep certain amenities, they are using certain tactics and tools to control the Negro man as if it was modern day slavery. It's called pressure that will bust a pipe. If you don't conform, we're going to take your house. If you don't conform, we're going to take your business. You remember the first Negro Wall Street down in Oklahoma? It was the most powerful, successful entrepreneur. Wall Street, it outdid Wall Street in New York in the matter of months. Then it took them years to build. But
Hmm.
because it was a Negro, because it was a minority. They went down there and burnt them folk business down, burnt down everything because they seen the self-rising of the minority community. Listen, sisters, and listen, brother, we ain't going nowhere fighting one another. Together we stand, divided we fall. Calling the police is only adding death to someone in the family. You must come to self terms that I cannot live like this. And the only way you're going to stop domestic violence is you're going to have to raise these children with a mother and a father.
I agree.
Domestic violence is going to continue to happen because you're in the house with parents that are separate and they're arguing, fighting. So when they grow up, they're going to argue and fight too. It's simple.
You
It's
have to
human
teach
behavior.
you have to teach your child in the ways that they need to be. That goes back to my point, what you just said, Mr. Thomas. You cannot teach your child foolishness. Children need to stay in children's place. That's what my point was when we first came on.
Mhm.
A child should know y'all business. A child should know that the father is whatever.
Right,
Allow that child to see for themselves. Him or she, both children, eventually will see. Well, where's my dad at, or
right,
where's my mom at?
right.
A child should not be taught that type of behavior. Children don't know but nothing but love if you teach them.
That's it. They don't know hatred. They don't know racism. They don't know anything like that.
But if you expose them to foolery, they gonna know
That's
what
it.
foolery is.
That's it.
And
Well done.
so we are responsible as
Right.
parents and as adults to lead our children the right way.
Right.
Teach them
Right.
the right way. And
Absolutely.
as they grow older and they have a family and they have seeds of their own,
Right.
they'll know the right and the wrong way to
Right.
do things.
That's right.
And regardless, some things work out, some things don't.
Right.
And sometimes you have to be
Right.
co-parenting situation.
Right. Right.
And in that instance, you have to lose self.
That's
And
it.
when you lose self, you have to allow that person, because just like boys need their father, little girls need their dads as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Girls need their
Absolutely.
dads as well. I
Absolutely.
am a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And so girls love their daddies. They
Right.
can do no wrong in their eyes. And
Right.
so it's very important that you don't tarnish them with
Right.
negativity of whatever you may feel towards that parent and
Right.
put it on them. They shouldn't wear that burden.
Right.
They
Right.
shouldn't they shouldn't have to
That's
bear
it.
that burden.
And
Now
it's
as they get
purpose.
older, they may see that they hot trash,
Right.
but that's their own perception.
Right.
You do not put your perception off on your
Right.
children, and that's why some of these babies are growing up angry, not
Domestic
feeling
violence.
loved, not
Domestic violence.
feeling wanted,
Yeah.
not feeling needed,
Right.
because they've been fed that you wasn't wanted. Oh, that sucker wasn't wanted. I've been in rooms
Right.
where I hear people say, "Oh, you know your dad ain't this, or you're stupid just like your dad, or you're
Right.
stupid just like such and such."
Right.
You can't do that.
Can't do it.
You can't do that. That's it's imperative that we stop.
Right.
Miss Scott says these men or boy toys have no desire to raise a child because they're still being kids themselves, sitting at home playing the game, eating, drinking, and smoking that we not ever showing his children that he doesn't work. The Bible says man that does not work does not eat. But these weak females or girl toys so scared he gonna leave, so they allow them to do it. Ladies, stop demeaning yourselves, fall into the fear of not having a boy toy in your house. You said a whole mouthful right there, Miss Scott. See, I can't adapt to this new generation of
Me
dating.
neither. I don't understand them myself.
The
I
new
don't,
generation of dating
I
makes
don't
my
know what this
head
is.
hurt.
Yeah.
Give me an old school man any day. This new generation buffoonery.
I don't know
First
what
of
this
all,
person is. Lord have mercy.
a lot of these women don't know how to be courted, or whatever the word is. You know, they letting them in their house on the first night.
Yeah.
I can't relate to that because see, I was raised by big mamas.
Mhm.
Well, you got to do a little extra to even know what street I live on. And see, when you take the big mamas out of the house and these women are becoming grandmas at 27, 30 years old, and you wasn't taught the principles of the old school way, you're
Yeah.
going to have that. Then their generation is going to be cursed, and it's going to go on and on and on and on. So I'm grateful for my grandmother. I'm
Right.
grateful for my mom,
Praise
God rest
God.
their soul, because everyone is not going to have what you may have had.
Right.
But even though you didn't have it, as you grow older, you need to learn better and do better.
Right.
We can no longer use that excuse, well, I wasn't raised that way, I wasn't taught that way. At some point, if you have children and seeds, it's time to learn. Go
Hmm.
take you some classes. Go read a book. Go be mentored by someone that knows better so you can be better for your children.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we use excuses for being poor parents.
That's true.
You wasn't raised this way, or you didn't have nobody. Them cheering didn't ask to be here.
That's true.
And so at some point you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I got to be better than what I am.
That's true.
Period. Because you owe that to your seeds. You owe that to them to be the best version of yourself that you can be.
That's true.
And as a parent, there's no book on how to be a perfect parent. As a parent, you gonna mess up.
That's it.
You
That's
it's a
normal.
learning way going on learning. It's
Yeah,
learning
it's
day
just
by day.
normal. It's just normal.
But you got to be able to lose yourself.
Right.
You got to be selfless when it comes to being parents. Prime
That's it.
example, if you got small children, you can't go to the club. Not
Bingo.
all the time. You may be able to go once a month if you find you a babysitter, but even then, you need
Right.
to be have your behind back in at a decent hour.
That's right.
Especially if you got a little girl. So I'm gonna tell you women out there, your little girl gonna watch everything you do, good and bad.
That's right.
My 6-year-old has all of my mannerism, the good and the bad and the ugly. And
Minute.
so you
It's a
have to
minute.
watch yourself and check yourself on everything that you do. Little boys, these men, if you out here calling women bitchs and all of this here, what you think that little boy gonna do? He gonna say, "Oh, my papa or my daddy did it." Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
so I'm
B.
gonna
That's a
do the
B right there.
same thing. That's exactly what they're gonna do.
So we have to be and instill what we want in our children, and we got to teach them the right way, and we got to lose this mentality of, oh, I wasn't taught that way. If you was raised around drinking and partying, It's not acceptable for you then to grow up,
That's
have
right.
children, and have your children around that environment. When is it going to be time to break the generational curse?
Who gonna
When?
break it? Who gonna break it? Because now granddaddy out there trying to keep up with this grandson girlfriend. The grandmama show got her dress skirt up past her thigh. I saw an old lady in the store. She had to be about 70, 60 some years old. Had on them spandex shorts. Looked like she had a pamper on with it. Lord, I said, really? This what the world has come to?
It is. It's that new age.
It's
You know,
horrible.
nowadays it's unpopular to be clothed. Nowadays, it's more popular to be half naked than it is to have on some clothes.
Right. It's
Me,
crazy.
I feel funny without enough clothes on because
Right.
again, it goes back to I have a daughter, and if I got my butt out, she gonna say, "Ooh, mama got that on. She got that on. My booty needs to be hanging out too." So prime example of we have to do better. We have to hold ourselves accountable,
I'm
and that's
saying,
mothers and fathers.
I'm
We
saying
gotta hold ourselves accountable.
there is no examples out here. When I say there is no examples, hardly there is no examples. We are at war within our own homes now. I was looking on the news,
Right,
and we can cover this real quick. And if we run over, we run over. But if we don't, it's cool. Um, uh, I was looking on this thing here. This man punches this woman in the face, and we could touch this and come back. Punch this woman in the face, which I mean, like, God, leave, man, you just gonna do this? So the woman said to the son, shoot it. He shot him dead and down in the store. What am I saying concerning this? Nobody won in that situation. There was a dead young man. Now you got an underage child with a gun in his hand, and now the mother is in turmoil because she had to do what she had to do to survive that incident. Who won out of that situation? It's all over the news from down there in Chicago. Nobody won. There's another separation in the community. When will we
right,
win?
and it's different. That's definitely a topic for us to discuss on another day because perceptually you can look at that from several different
Different
angles.
angles, yeah.
Seven different angles you can look at that.
Right, right.
I will just say this.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn in the heat of an argument or anger to learn to live another day.
Right. That's the
It's
key.
nothing wrong with walking away.
That's it.
And that's in any situation.
That's it.
We all have to get to that maturity point
That's true.
where you walk away until you can talk in a better tone, better light, or whatever the case might be.
This is
Or
true.
if you're in intimate danger, you learn how to shut your mouth up, get out of that danger,
And
and
that's
move
the
on.
problem. And I want to say this tonight before you exes or should you go any further. And that is this. Women, this is your strength. See this? This is your strength. You see this? This is a man's strength. This does not come equal to this. It will not have mercy. So at this point, don't use this, use this.
And that can be related to a man as well. We have
That's
to
true.
learn how to think. As Miss Scott says, life is a gift from God.
That
We
is.
all have a begin and an end.
That's it.
And I'm trying to live. I ain't got time to put myself in intimate danger. If I see intimate danger, I'm
That's
gone.
it.
I ain't gonna keep, but we all have to mature. The 20-year-old Kimberly may have been at the mouth too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So we all have to, and life experiences will
Right.
teach you that, to
Right.
humble yourself and shut your mouth up.
Right.
Don't never allow someone to make you become something that you're
You're
not.
not.
Because if you're dealing with something, a person can provoke you
Right.
to come out and be something that you're not,
Right.
if you're not really really careful. That's
Right.
why I say walking away, learning to live another day or
Right.
deal with certain situations another day
Right.
is very, 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 very important, and
This
we
is
all
true.
have to do that. And if enough people did that, a lot of people wouldn't be living their life or losing their lives right now,
Men and women
because
would not be a
people are
victim of
losing their
domestic
lives over a
violence.
parking spot.
Right. Right.
You might get mad because the person then pulled in and you couldn't get the parking spot, and the person said something smart to you, and boom, you done got your pistol and you done shot the person.
Right. Right.
In that one moment, you lost yourself because you may be struggling with, you can't feed your family, you done
That's
had a
right.
hard day at work or whatever the case might be, and because we hadn't dealt with our own personal trauma, we then unleash it on people, our loved ones or people out in the community or whatever. So
Right.
emotions need to be, and this goes back to being a parent.
That's
You
it.
have to be in control of your emotions for
That's
these
true.
babies' sake.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
With age comes wisdom, good sense. Don't get killed before you get to it. It is a beautiful thing. Amen, Miss Scott. Living, when you got a whole lot of living to do, you ain't got time for no foolery. You ain't got
Ooh.
time for no foolery,
I
because you
try to
got to
tell you.
live for your babies, you got to live for yourself, and
That's it.
you got to provide a space and an environment.
That's
When you
right.
grown and you got children, your mind space should be getting to that bag.
That's
Create
it.
generational wealth so that you
Right.
won't be leaving behind a rent house, you leaving behind a house. Because
Right.
guess what? If you mess around and fool around and you're not taking care of your business, something happened to you and you're renting a house, they're gonna put
Right.
your child out.
Right. And what you gonna do then? What you gonna do then? Your mouth done sentenced you to something that you should not allow it to do.
Right.
The
And
Bible,
then
the Bible says a fool utter all of his mind. It's mine, not his.
right.
It's mine. But a wise one will keep it until afterward. How many fools we got nowadays? They
It's a lot
everywhere.
of them. We got a lot of fools roaming the street. But
Boy, I
just to
tell you.
summarize, guys, my time is almost up. To summarize it, yes, in Louisiana, especially Louisiana, the child support law should definitely be revised
Yes.
for the deadbeats as
Yes.
well as the fathers that's doing the best that they can to take care of their
Right.
child. And we have these mammies out here utilizing the system to manipulate and manipulate
Right.
and take advantage of an
Yeah.
already broken system
Right.
that's
Right.
already built against the minority people
Right.
to seek, conquer, and destroy.
Right.
We have to be mindful of that. And
Right.
when it's already hard for our minority men, don't make it harder on them, especially
Wow.
when they man enough to stand up and do the best that
Right.
they
The
can
thing.
for
Right.
their children. Don't
Right.
make it more harder,
Right.
because parents that is begging for that, you're
Right.
tying up the system for the families and the women or the fathers that really need the help from the people.
Right.
We have to stop being selfish
Yeah.
and be parents
Right.
and
Right.
get out of ourselves and put what's in the best interest for
Right.
our babies. That's my time, y'all.
Part two.
Thank y'all
Part
so
two.
much for joining
Part
me.
two.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for joining me. I will be back live again on Tuesday with another topic from our perspective and not the world's perspective.
Right.
What a lot of people may not want to talk about, and child support is a touchy subject.
Right.
I may have made a couple of mammoths mad, but oh well. Leave that man alone and allow him to take care of his children, and stop tying up the system for people that really need the help. Go sit down somewhere.
Right.
Y'all be blessed. Y'all have a blessed rest of your week. And I will see you guys again, if it's God's will, next Tuesday. Bye,
Yeah.
y'all.